Fuck. Testing. Hey everybody. Sorry about that. Hey everybody. Sorry about that. I was having some microphone issues for some reason. I don't know why this wireless microphone is doing that. It'll work for a few minutes and then it'll cut out, and it'll work for a few minutes and it'll cut out. So I'm not sure what's going on there, so I'm going to have to fix that for future ones. Just give me a thumbs up, yes or no or whatever in the chat here. Let me know that you can hear me, and then I'm going to get started here right now. Not a ton to talk about today. A little bit of action on the euro, the US dollar, and I'll run through a couple other pairs that you like to see. Give me 1 second here. Just have to write a quick note and we're going to get started. Hope you guys all are having a great day today for April 17th. Already halfway through April. Didn't take long. Okay. So, real quick, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you haven't already, go check out our website, f45trading.com. We have several options there for you if you are an aspiring new trader or an experienced veteran trader. Jump on our website. We offer a chat room, we offer a signal service, we offer obviously live webinars daily. Not necessarily daily, but we don't do Mondays, but we do every day from Tuesday to Friday. New York session and London session, and I mean there's a plethora of other things, direct instant notifications direct to your phone, education resources, you name it. Go check us out, and it's all free for 14 days as well too, guys, so you literally have nothing to lose. Also, tell your friends. That would be a big help as well too. And if you haven't done so already, click down here in the right hand corner and just click subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm trying to really grow my following on YouTube here as well too, and get the word out, and that would be great if you guys could subscribe to it. So hope the markets are working out all right for you here today so far on Tuesday, April 17th. US dollar had a bit of rejection, came up here, scooped a couple of highs. I'm just going to zoom in here quick. So it scooped up, as you guys can see here, this high here, and it scooped the one right above it as well too. Let's see if I can get a straight line here. So grab that high. Wow, look at those lines. That is terrible. Let's go ahead and take 1 second and fix that before I throw my computer out. So you can see it came up, scooped two short-term intermediate highs, and failed so far to get above this guy right here. So that's sort of the next level that we're looking at on the upside. On the downside, we did have a big deep retracement last week, and starting out yesterday, and so far today, Tuesday's candle has rejected. So and it rejected sort of right off the highs in here. So I'm just going to take a level off of that, and I've got a box here for some reason. I guess we'll just use that box. You can see here the high of this candle here, high of this candle here came into and jammed right in the high of it, and so far has rejected. So expecting that movement to feel referred to my pre-recorded video on Sunday that I did. I'll say one of two things is going to happen. The market's either going to run up to start out the week, and it's going to run into the lows of this small consolidation area in here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 candles straight across. Just the bottoms of those was all I was looking for, and then it'll reject, come back down, and fill in this small range in here. Or the opposite will happen. It'll start the week lower, and then into Tuesday, possibly Wednesday, will create that low and then start running higher. So now what I want to see is the old high from yesterday broken, Monday's open, and I'm just going to zoom in quick here and throw on some data dividers. You can see here, this is the open. This is the open right here. And you see how price gapped up in here? That's the open for Monday. So what I want to see is if price has a willingness to trade any higher than that, then we will be looking for higher prices going into finish off the rest of the week, and obviously lower prices on foreign currency. But it's got to get through this little area right in here. You see these lows in here, and then the highs in here. And somebody's sending me something there. What's going on? 1 second, guys. Yeah, so looking to see if there's any willingness to continue through this area right in here. And actually a better one, see these lows over here? That's actually an even better location that I like. If price wants to drive through there, then we will look for these highs here to be swept. And really they didn't come to get any stops. They left stops above here, left it here, here, and here, and then ran it down. And as I said, tagged off of that daily high back in here very, very nicely. So it did leave a bit of an open range still. I would expect price to come back down here eventually and just kind of tag off the highs of this small consolidation level in there. But we'll have to wait and see. For now, it is running up and big rejection, very quick rejection, and price is pushing up nicely now. So we'll see how that wants to continue through there. In the meantime, though, you can certainly look for the opposite trade in the euro, and you can see here you could have got off a sell as soon as price swept the highs above here. You could have got off on a sell and dropped that, and then now you can either look for this, watch price at this level here. If it has any willingness to get through here, then we're going to go lower, and we're going to look at the consolidation level in here to get taken, and potentially even lower, just depending on how much strength is on that US dollar. Like this thing here, if it wants to start running this high here, then it'd be looking for this high to get ran, and then ultimately I've been talking about this level up in here now for a couple of weeks now, so hasn't got there yet, but the exact opposite would be seen in the Euro USD. Those would be the same lows down here that I'd be looking for to get tagged. So we'll see how that goes, but price has got to get through this very significant level right now, and we could even see a bounce. So the price could come down in here and just want to reject and continue to go higher, because there is a level up here. Let's bring this up here. You see the bottoms of these consolidation levels in here, the small consolidation area in here. That would be a very logical level for price to reach to, and I figured it would have actually got there already, but it didn't. It just fell off of the high here today. Now we have not broken Monday's open yet. Okay, so Monday's open comes in, where are we here? Monday's open comes in right here, this candle right here. Hasn't done that yet. The open, I'll just pull that up here at 123, call it 30, 123.30. So I want to see if there's any willingness for price to break that level there. If it breaks that level, then chances are we're going to finish the week lower, and if it doesn't break that level, then we could see a rejection and a bounce higher, and that area ultimately up here, like I would discussed, at 124.40 filled. So that would be kind of the next one of the two. So it's this one here immediately or this one long term. That's what we'll be looking for on the euro. So we'll watch to see. But so far, if you hadn't been able to get into a short, and admittedly I don't watch this pair. I wasn't looking at this one today, and I was looking for it to run lower and sweep these lows, but I was looking forward to do it earlier on in London, and instead they spiked it up and then decided to drop it. So it is what it is. Either way, if you had a level sitting right here, you could have got into it, and you could either scooped up, taken a low right off of there, and you could have scooped up 23 pips, or got in on a long, or even got in on a short up here. So just all how you trade it when you're watching it and what your targets are. But obviously this was a big target that I had mentioned from Sunday as well too, that there were possible levels down in there that this could be reaching for. So on to the pound dollar. So interesting, this is again just been running up nicely here all of last week. This was Monday's trading, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. You can see here like just a nice steady bull market on the pound dollar. Hasn't really broken that trend line, and still seeing bullish tendencies right now. Slight pullback here. It came up now. This red line here at 143.45. That's an old high here that was set back in January. So we just ran the yearly high so far on cable. So I'm not, and again, I've been calling this level up here at 150. The old Brexit high. I think that's where they're going to be gunning for, but we got a lot of price action to move through before we get up to there. So I would expect them again run up, do a quick pop up, take the stops, and I'm assuming they're probably going to run back down to grab further liquidity before they continue it higher, gain a little bit more strength and a few more long positions, and run it higher. But I'd like to see some type of a retracement back down before that happens, and hopefully we're going to get that. Now, a couple of spots that I'm looking for. One is right here. I've had this on the chart here for a while to get run out. The old highs up here, that could be, which also coincides with this daily high right here from April, I think that's April 9th. Sorry, April 12th. The old high on April 12th could be an area where it would bounce. So we're going to be watching for that, but price has got to get through yesterday's high just to kind of confirm that we are going to see a bit of a retracement on this. Now, if we get the same type of price action, so I'm not saying cable has been following along with the US dollar, because it really hasn't at all. It's been completely void of that US dollar trend. The US dollar has been in a consolidation, obviously, nothing new there. We all know that, and it's going to continue for the next foreseeable future. And I don't know why I decided to do that, but so totally decoupled from the US dollar. So, you know, I would expect this to pull back a little bit, and I'm hoping to see a further continuation to the upside. But I don't want to buy up here. Don't want to buy right now. Want to look at these levels here. So this comes in at the exact highs on these. Actually, I'll just see if I can't get that. 142.44. So you could call it 142.45, just for nice even numbers. So that would be the area that I'm looking at on the downside. And if it shows any willingness to go through there, then the next level I'm looking at would be the equal lows that were put in. If these lows in here, you actually have to go down to a lower time frame to see it, but that's kind of the next level I'd be looking at, which is about 140, 140 for a stop run. And if they have any willingness to go down through there, then you can see again here, you see these highs in here. There's a small consolidation level right in there. I'd be looking for those levels next to get tagged as well. So on the downside. Now, I don't necessarily think that price is going to get all the way down to 140, you call it 140.90. That would be a pretty deep retracement, but if it does, you could certainly look at picking up some longs from there. So that's just what we'll have to wait and see what happens. I don't want to short the cable with, you don't want to short and go opposite, unless it's very, very short-term scalping. You don't want to short this, so I don't want to come in here and say everybody gets short on pound dollar, because it could reverse at any moment and you'd be stuck on that, and you don't want to get into that. You want to get into the habit of obviously buying on a down candle and getting long on one of these areas here. Once price shows a willingness to reject, that's where you want to get long, and then you would obviously hold for higher prices. So that's what we're looking at. So you see these equal lows here. That's what I was talking about earlier. I've identified that one last week there, that I wanted to see if price had any willingness to get down to. It didn't. It just kept skyrocketing. So now we'll just have to wait and see. Again, popped its head up, created a high, did a bit of a turtle soup, and so far it has rejected these levels in here, and I would assume we're going to head lower to finish out the week. So potentially could create a low maybe into Thursday or Friday's trading, maybe get down to one of these levels here, and maybe even scoop these levels here, and that would be from current levels, that would be about 190 pips. So we could get 2 good down days here for the next couple of days, create the low on Friday, and then look potentially for some longs next week. And again, just depending on what type of trader you are, if you do want to scalp, there could be some opportunities on cable to do that at some logical levels, but I wouldn't necessarily be interested in doing that right now. Just again, the overall trend, I mean, you could certainly do it, like I say. I mean, if you're a very nimble trader, you can get in, you can get out, be my guest, but I would typically like to trade with the trend. That's sort of been my philosophy, and we'll see how that goes here with cable. But anyway, Euro GBP, want to talk about this. So this is seeing price stall a little bit in this area here. I'll go down to a lower time frame. You can see here it's really creating essentially an artificial bottom here. Support essentially is what this is creating here. Artificial support. All the long traders are sitting there thinking, yeah, this thing is going to go long, and we're going to see higher prices, and we could very well see higher prices on this. I actually would like to see if they would want to come up here a little bit and take up some, and scoop the highs of this previous consolidation range in here, and then continue lower. I think we're definitely going to see lower prices, and in order to see the pound dollar go higher, this has to go lower, and there is a big area right in here that I think this could scoop up and go and tag down into. So anyways, that is Euro GBP. So again, need to see continuation to the downside in order to see continuation to the upside on pound dollar, and I believe that they will probably just stall it in here for the next little while, and possibly manipulate the euro as well. The euro has could see some reaction to the downside and sort of catch up on that Euro GBP action. So we'll have to wait and see. If we start pushing higher, again, I'd be expecting these levels up in here to get swept, and then see the corresponding downward slide in cable, and then we could look at getting into some discount markets after that happens, and potentially get long. So we've got to watch for that, but I'm not expecting them to come down here, and they grab stops just a little bit right here, but not convincingly, obviously. But I am looking for them to continue lower eventually, but I'd like to see if they want to zip up higher and grab some of the stuff in here. So see how that goes. US CAD was one I was looking at last week. Unfortunately, didn't get any entry. Had to be pretty nimble with this one. I was looking at it in here 2 weeks ago, and price just popped its head up here and sailed south. Unfortunately, didn't get on anything, and then price has just been in a straight consolidation since. So really not a whole ton going on here last week. Price has just sort of been sitting sideways, and this is obviously getting manipulated with crude oil as well too, so just keep that in mind. Crude oil has been very, very bullish the past couple of weeks, and the US dollar, as you can see, has been fairly bearish. So US CAD is sort of getting stuck right in the middle, and you can see here that's why this consolidation is ensuing. But with that being said, I believe this area in here will get tagged. You see these old highs back in here. That's where I'm expecting US CAD to head to. Not going to be a straight shot down, of course. We'd have to get through a couple of levels first. But for instance, this low rate here, that would be my next target to the downside, and we should see willingness to continue downward So 124.50 would be a good level to watch for. And I think that one could be coming up here. We could get it this week, or it could chop sideways this week. We are going to see some weakness in crude oil, as you can see here, and it's actually dumping right now. I was going to start talking about crude oil here in a few minutes. Crude oil is dumping right now. So you don't need to worry about selling short right now and chasing this. Wait for price to come back up and get into it. Unfortunately, I was looking at this yesterday, and this right in here is really ugly price action, and it really wasn't doing a whole bunch in this area right here. So I was a little bit hesitant. I knew it was going to go short. We had sold off in here and then sold off in this range right here, and just ugly price action. It was a bit of a stop grabbing day yesterday, and just really ugly price action, and it just slowly started meandering its way back higher, and then again fell off, and then just as of 30 minutes ago fell off one more time here. So looking for lower prices on crude oil. Again, it's with all the hoopla and everything going over in the Middle East, with the U.S. sending out missiles into Syria, that obviously was the catalyst to drive the price up higher into last Friday. And then we just took the all-time, I shouldn't say all-time high, highs of, we haven't been back up here since 2014, obviously took the highs from earlier this year, and now we're seeing some retracement. You typically want to fade that, you know, when that news comes out and those big events and it takes new highs, typically want to fade that from there, just because it is gonna be opposite of what the news reaction is going to be 9 times out of 10. So we're going to see lower prices. Now, how low is it going to go? Again, my eye goes to these sort of equal highs in here, the small consolidation level in here. That would be an area that I'd be targeting on the downside on crude. So I'll just pop a level on that here at 163.70. That would be sort of the area that I'd be looking at for crude to run to, and on the week, and that can get there very, hell, that could hit there today. I've seen crude oil in a day cover between $2 and $3 a barrel in a range in one day, so it wouldn't put it past me. I have been talking about this level under here. They really left a lot of lows in here and a lot of area of liquidity in here that they didn't scoop up. Really be very, very happy if they came back down and grabbed this. They don't have to, of course. It was just an area that I had noticed they kind of left. Came back down, tried to trade through it here, got stopped with these old highs in here, this small consolidation level in here. Big rejection, and that was that bullish action, and then obviously Trump bombing Syria into last week pushed it over those 2 equal highs that it created right in here. And then finally pushed through into Friday, and then Monday traded softer. Tuesday we're trading softer, and I'm expecting price to continue down a couple dollars. So that's literally $2 even right from here. So, but I don't want to sell it here. What I want to do is I want to wait for price to come back up. See these equal lows in here, low, 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 low. That's essentially the resistance that I'd be looking for. So I just want to wait, watch, and see if price has any willingness to come back up, tag off of these, reject, and then go lower. So I'll watch for that. But again, if we do have weaker prices in crude oil, that should be the catalyst. There we go. That should be the catalyst to start to see something in the Canadian dollar happen and move here. So we'll have to wait and watch for that. But right now, it's in a big, tight consolidation range, and not a whole lot there to talk about right now. They are gathering up positions, so I am expecting a continuation lower on it. Just to go ahead and grab that level right there, and that's about 120 pips away, so a nice range there if they can grab that. But I'd like to see if they want to run back up here and grab these areas. They just slightly came in by a literally, you know what? Oh shit! Sorry guys, 1 second. Let me grab this level. The highs on this candle here, 126. Sorry, 126.22. The highs on this guy come in at 126.22. So those are equal highs right there. So what I'd like to see them do is run up, take these highs, sweep it by 10 or 20 pips, and then reject and come back down and head for that low right in here, 124.50. So that's what I'd be looking at for on CAD. Doesn't have to do it. It may just be a very shallow retracement up into here, into these old lows, back into this small area in here, and then they could dump it from there. But you could watch for that, and just to kind of give you perspective, we'd only be talking about a difference of 40 pips, 40, 50 pips or so. So depending on your risk level, you could certainly dial back the risk, and you could put a pending limit order in for a sell anywhere in that area right in here, just depending, just in case they don't want to roll it over, run it up here and grab those stops, which I think is a very, very blatantly obvious target, by the way. And I think by now, from the amount of times you guys have seen me do these live sessions, you can probably tell what I'm looking for. That would be a very, very big area that I'm interested in. So, and again, I think they're going to run it lower. So that could be a nice trading opportunity, and potentially, if they do run up above here and grab these highs. So these highs come in at 126.20. Let's say they ran it up to 126.30 and then dumped it. That would be a nice 175 pip trade from there down to those levels. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on CAD to set you up for a longer term trade. Moving on, just as an aside, guys, if there's anything that you want to see on me discuss here real quickly today, because there's really not a whole lot I'm going to talk about further. The pound dollar is just sort of stagnating right now. Euro USD, we could see a nice little bounce here. So what I want to see is price run back up into here and fail, and then you could look at getting into a short position and then riding it out lower. So we'll see if price starts to break up through these levels here, though. So let me just put this on the chart here for you, just so you know. If price breaks these levels in here and trades any higher than this level, we're probably going to go higher. So just keep that in mind at 123.80. That's kind of your line in the sand. It could wick through it, of course, but if it starts closing higher than that, then we could be going higher. And this could just be an intraday low that it's going to create and then a bounce higher. So just keep that in mind, guys, because there is some area up in here that I am interested price going into, and this just could be a nice retracement. You can see here, you know, price has really been very, very bullish last week. Came back down, gathered up some long positions, pushed higher, took the highs here, and now it could just be coming back down to gather some more long positions and then run up higher into it. So please just watch that 123.80 level. But a nice sell-off here today. You know, if you could have swept the highs on this high here at 123.95, potentially, what is that, about a 17, call it a total of 20 pip move higher. Got in on the lows up there and ran it down. That would have been a nice 50, 60 pip move on the day. So I would be taking some profits right here, because I don't know if it's going to want to continue lower or if it's going to want to stagnate in here and eventually push higher. But that's about it for foreign currency and oil. Just real quickly, this orange juice trade is kind of driving me crazy. I was looking for a long down in here, and it gave it to me twice here, and I wasn't watching the charts, admittedly, unfortunately. I didn't set an alert. It didn't hit it, but it ran up nicely off of those levels. So I want to see price trade back down in here, and then eventually I'm looking for these highs up here. We're in a period of the year where orange juice shows some bullish tendencies, so that coupled with 100 other factors, I believe we're going to see higher prices there. But I'd love to see trade softer in here, and it really posted two very, very nice updates so far. So I'm going to be watching for that one. Sugar's coming down to our level. It's almost actually hit my alert here, so I'm really watching this level down in here, and I'm watching it for a bounce. See these two equal highs up here? This could be an amazing trade if this pans out. I am absolutely not 100% not suggesting you buy this or do anything with this. This is just my observation. I do believe that we could see continuation higher, a bounce and a continuation higher on orange juice, on sugar. And I think it could happen here fairly soon. But I am watching these levels. This 0.1170 level, 0.1180. Want to see some willingness to reject these levels. It could go lower. There are a couple of levels, depending on what chart you're looking at, that do have low 0.11, 20, 0.1110 numbers. So price could go another, 60, 70 pips lower than past this line here. But I will be watching these areas. And unfortunately, this chart only goes so far. I'd love to pull it out and show you. And if you've followed me for any length of time, you've probably already seen a chart posted. Jump onto my Twitter. You'll find it there. Twitter at F45 Trading. You'll see it there. I posted a chart, I think it was on Sunday, and that's sort of the levels that I'm watching on sugar. And I don't know if you're a commodity trader. If you are, great. If you're not, no, you don't have to worry about what I'm saying here. But if you are, this could be a very, very, very big trade here coming up. So, and then obviously this one here, the natural gas as well too. I was thinking the same thing, and you can see here price moved very, very bullish. I was actually talking this into middle of last week. Price came into a couple of logical areas right in here, ran down, grabbed the stops, and has rejected ever since, and traded up higher very, very nicely. So I don't know how much lower we're going to get under this low here. Price could just want to slam into these highs in here and then continue running higher. But same type of idea, right, guys? Big highs up here. We're coming into the summer. Natural gas typically is very, very bullish going into the summer months, especially if there is a very, very hot summer. Everyone's going to have their air conditioning on, and the price of natural gas is going to spike. So keep that in mind. That's another one that I'm watching here. I don't want to buy it technically right here. I'd like to see if it does want to come down a little bit lower and get into some of these levels here. And I might even just put out a signal for our membership group here on this and see what we got here coming forward. So that's sort of what I'm looking at. Last one here, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. Again, seeing a little bit of bullish breakouts trading as of the end of last week, start of this week here. And who knows, I think they may want to sweep these highs. See these highs right in here? They could want to come up and sweep those highs there. But just keep in mind, this is a very, very bearish price model right now that we're in, and I wouldn't necessarily be shooting for these highs up in here yet. I would assume to some level of certainty that we could be seeing a retracement coming, and you can see here price actually has hit a logical area right in here at the 83.65 level. And we could see lower prices. So I'll just dial down a little bit here. See how they gapped it up into Monday's trading and have traded softer since. I'd be looking for price to skirt up just one more time and just potentially even trade right off of the lows in here, somewhere in and around this area. Just the lows of that previous consolidation range in there. And I would be very suspect that they want to go any higher from there. If they do, it might just be them poking their head up and then rejecting and trading lower. See this gap down here? This gap is going to need to get filled eventually. They haven't done it yet, so that kind of leads me. See how they filled this gap right here? Came down nicely. They gapped up that same day, came back down, filled it the same day, and ran it. And they haven't filled that gap yet, so I think that's going to get filled here. And I think Bitcoin is going to go lower before it goes any higher. So again, same thing, guys. It's not the first time you've heard me say that. I think this is giving everybody a false sense of hope who is holding Bitcoin and going long, and they're going to drop the floor out of this. And you can see here they're really creating like an equal, like almost like a support level. Very, very equal lows down in here. Very, very level lows. Just a perfect area. Everyone's stacking up all of their sell stops under there. Whoever got long in here, they're stacking up under those levels right there, and that's a prime target for them to come back down and nail those areas. So just keep that in mind. I think that's where they're going to head. So that's Bitcoin. A couple of commodities that I've been looking at. The USD, Euro USD, pound dollar. You guys have any questions? It's it's Tuesday morning here, 9 a.m. New York time. I got a couple of minutes. I can sit with you guys and have a chat if you guys are interested. I just don't know what you want to chat about. So by all means, if you have a question, if you got a pair that you want me to look at, throw it up and let me know. I've got my chat window sitting here, so I'll give you guys a minute or two just to type a question, and I'd be more than happy to answer it for you. I'm just actually reading some commentary here as well too, guys. So that's why there's some dead air coming in here, but you guys are a quiet group. You either know everything, or you don't have any questions, or I've covered it. So glad to hear it. Starting to see a little bit of rejection in here so far on the dollar. So this is, again, this is a very, very significant area right in here. I want to see if they have any willingness whatsoever to get through there. I'm going to put a price tag on there so we can see exactly what that is. Anywhere from 89.30 to 89.40. They got to break through that in order to get higher. If they don't break this, then they're going to continue lower. So just keep that in mind. Again, very, very significant level that they need to run through on the pound dollar, on the U.S. dollar. Again, they hit a very, very significant level down here that I'd outlined, and again, that just comes in the way of these old highs back in here that they tagged into. I mean, and almost perfectly down into that high right there, and have since rejected. Very, very strong rejection. So when they start doing these types of rejections, that's how you typically know that this could potentially be the low, the short-term low that they're going to set in here, and they're going to trade off of that, and they're going to start taking up liquidity above the market. When you see that type of action, when you see this sort of thing come in here, let me just see if I can find another one here. See, that's another good one. See, that double tap down. That's those double taps like that, and then a rejection in these big, big candles in here. That is a very, very good forecast that they're going to take the market higher. That's kind of what we're seeing here. One drop lower, and then big, big bullish candles rip through the old highs here. Again, I'm expecting to see this continue higher, but this will be the area that it has to break through. This is essentially the resistance that is going to be banging up into. Got to get through there. If it can get through there, then we'll target these lows in here, and if it gets through there, then we'll target these lows in here, and ultimately the highs that it's created back in early April would be the ultimate target. So just keep that in mind, guys. That's sort of what I'm looking for, but you can see, like I say, double tap down, drove it down. Where's another one here where they did that? Very convincing. Same type of thing here. A double tap down. They actually came back down one more time to sweep all the lows in here, pick up more positions, and then run it higher and took out a bunch of highs. So that's what we're looking for. These short-term highs to be violated right in here, and this would be a nice catalyst to it. So I want to see that continue much, much higher going long term into the rest of the week. So get an even level here, 965. You guys are a quiet group today. Either you're in the middle of a trade and you're monitoring your trades and you got no time to talk, or I've covered everything for you here. But one second, guys. I'm just bringing up another chart here of something else. Nice. Jonathan, good stuff. Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate that. Yeah, well, that's about it, guys. Hopefully the audio isn't too distracting. I've got a heater that kicks on every now and then, and it can get quite loud. And I use my wireless headphones, that has a mic in it and everything, that I use to get much, much clearer audio, and very nice smooth, crisp audio. But for whatever reason, the stupid thing has been fluctuating lately, and it'll work. Like when I first jumped on, it worked just fine, and then I cut out on me about 5 minutes later, and I couldn't get the stupid thing to work again. So that's why I was jumping in and out of the live feed there for a minute. But anyway, just run through these levels real quick here. Euro USD, again, starting to see a little bit of rejection here. So I don't expect them to push too much higher. If we are seeing this rejection on the US dollar and price is going to power through there, we should see price again power through this 123.30 level. And again, I want to see them start to scoop up these lows in here. And you can see how they've left the liquidity in here for a reason. They haven't come down and done a stop raid anywhere. Actually, this was the last stop raid. April 6th was the very last stop raid. They did a double tap lower and then pushed price higher in the way of, 150 pips or so. Just ran the previous equal highs in here, and I'll put a level there so you can see. 2 equal highs, relatively equal highs anyway. Ran that stop run, and then so far they've dropped it. So again, wouldn't mind see them coming up and trading into this area in here, this 23.80, but I'm not anticipating it. They could just sort of see these wicks down in here. They could just want to come up and retrade back to that area and then continue lower. So if you haven't gone short on this yet, you could certainly do it anytime in this candle here. If it runs higher into here, and you could hold for the weekly range. So what I'm expecting for the week to pan out is this. Let's see if I can't put a different color on so you can see it very clearly. Make it a little bit thicker. So this is sort of what I'm looking for the week. So we started, week opened up right here. We've traded up. We've taken out an old high from last week. Came up, we nailed it, and then now I'm expecting price to do this and trade softer into the rest of the week, and just depending how much lower they want to take it. So I'll just zoom out here a little bit. So this is, now it's right, I mean, price isn't just going to go straight down there, obviously. I mean, we could come in here, and then we could meander in here a little while, and then eventually drop. But ultimately, this level down in here, see this 122.40 level that I've got marked out, and I can move that up just a bit so I can get that 40 level. That's kind of where I want it. That's sort of the target that I'm looking at. Now that's a ways away. We may not get there all this week. That's another 100. That's only 100 pips away, so it could actually do it. Sorry, scratch that last comment. It could actually take that out quite easily. But that's sort of what I'm looking at for the weekly range. If we get through this 123.30 level, that's the catalyst. If it can get through there and it starts closing lower than this level right here, this is what I'm expecting for the weekly range, and then price will probably trade off softer, into Friday and give back some of that. Typically, the range you get, profit taking happens on Friday. Thursday is the big driver down. Could see some levels continue into Friday, and then price will more than likely rebound back about to the 25% level. 25-30% level, somewhere in here, and that's probably what the week is going to look like, finishing, closing off the week. So be interesting to see. I might just leave that up on the chart and actually see if this actually pans out. I'd be very, very curious to find out. That would be one pretty sweet forecast. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking at on the week, guys. And prices sold off nicely on euro. Pound dollar, again, consolidating, and I think what they're going to be doing here is they're going to let the euro sort of buck a little bit. And because the pound dollar just got some new highs, and I think they're going to turtle soup it here and run it lower. Again, probably not going to come too lower. Like I wouldn't be expecting these levels in here to get ran, but I would definitely go on this level right here, the 140, 150 level for sure. I'd be seeing if they want to come back down and target, and then these levels under here. But I definitely like this trade on the euro to run further south, so we'll see how that goes. And there's even a couple hours left on the day, so we could see these levels getting tagged in here as well today. These lows getting hit, and you can see right here, equal lows, or relatively equal lows, I should say, right in there. That would be a good target on the day. A sweep below those, or even just right on those levels, another 30 pips from there. So that's sort of what I like, guys. Again, I'm not going to take a trade right now on this demo account that I've got, but that's sort of what I'm looking at. I'd kind of like to see price come a little bit higher. There is just a little bit of inefficiency up in this range in here. I really like to see them trading very, very nicely and very fluidly. in and all the levels, and typically when they don't do that, that leads me to believe that they may trade back to those levels again. So we could see it run one more run higher here and then start to run off a sell-off again. So watch for that, guys. Other than that, like I say, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. There's that little stop run there, same type of thing that the pound dollar, the pound dollar had yesterday, or sorry, earlier today. It popped down, and so far it hasn't really been doing anything. It's we'll see if it wants to continue. It's got to get back above these levels here. Again, just so you know, if it just keeps running south from here, the idea of the pound dollar slowly retracing back will obviously be off the table, and this thing's just going to shoot higher from there. So just keep an eye on Euro GBP. If this continues to fall off, we won't see that retracement in the pound dollar. It's just going to keep running higher. So you got to watch that and be very cognizant. Don't think we're going to see a whole lot of action today. I mean, there's another 2.5 hours of trading here before London the London trading day closes, and when price starts to lose its volatility and start to stagnate. So keep in mind, it could go lower on the day still. I'm not saying it won't, but I would kind of expect them to just do a quick stop run and run higher and take some of these previous highs back in here, and again, especially back into this consolidation level in here. So that's about all I got for you guys. If you're a crude oil trader, I'm actually going to be watching this here in the next hour or so. Crude oil can trade right up into about 1 to 2 o'clock p.m. New York time, and still make some very, very nice ranges. So just keep in mind, I'm going to be looking for price to trade off of these levels in here. If I see that, I'm going to put out a signal to the membership group, and I'm going to be looking for a short on this in a continuation lower. There's lots of areas in here that I think they could be scooping, so that's what I'm going to be looking for. So I'm going to be watching that going forward. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. I'm going to wrap this up. Dave is in tomorrow, 9 a.m. New York time. He's going to be trading S&P. He's going to be trading gold. He's going to be trading the U.S. yen. So jump on with him, and he'll do an overall market review as well too. And I don't know if you guys caught it from last week, but Dave had a monster trade last week on the S&P, and I'll just show that to you guys right now real quick here while I'm on, so you can kind of get an idea as to the power of some of these sessions. Now, just keep in mind, these trading sessions that we do, they're not all going to be fireworks, right? I mean, sometimes it just, there's not a ton going on, and I don't want to be throwing trades out, but just look at this trade. This was from last week, and I'll just throw the day dividers on so you can see. This is a demo account that we had, but you can see here, this was last week's trade. So this was an S&P trade that Dave had, 380 pip profit on that. We caught the low in here and rode it up to the high here, and he could have kept on holding that, but obviously we were starting to come into the weekend, and you don't want to be holding over the weekend, and so he definitely got out at the perfect time. And you can see just a gorgeous trade, 380 pips in profit. Like that's a monthly range, guys. If you can capture 380 pips on a month, you do that for 2 months straight, you're doubling your account. So just so you know the power of sort of some of the stuff that we're doing in here. And then on top of that, I caught a 105 pip trade on the cable last week. So all that combined just equals to big months, and that's sort of what we're trying to put together here. So if you're just joining us, just keep in mind in terms of our signals coming out and everything that we do for you guys, it's not always going to be a trade every single day all the time. We put a euro trade out today that didn't pan out, unfortunately. It missed our entry point. We would have got a nice 30-40 pips off of it. It didn't happen. So stuff like that, it just from time to time, you just kind of got to sit, wait, watch, be patient. But like so far, like I say, those 2 trades from last week, that would have made up your entire month. You could have literally stopped trading and done the exact same thing next month and doubled your account. So that's just sort of what we're looking at here, guys. So like I say, sometimes it is boring looking at the markets and just really not a whole lot of price action going on, and not a lot of trades. But that's a good thing. You don't want to be jumping in and out of the market 1,000 times a week, because that just is not conducive to profitable trading. You want to take those, wait for them, wait for the setups, and let them come to you. And you want to take those additional trades that you're doing off the table and just focus on quality setups and get those big movements, those 100 pip movements, those 300 pip movements. And all you got to do is do that once or twice a month, and you're set. I mean, you keep doing that, you are going to be a very, very profitable trader. You don't have to trade the markets every single day, day in, day out. Not only does that burn you out, but it also gets very frustrating because you know, you get these intraday movements like this. What happens if you run into a consolidation period? You're looking for it to go long and it chops you up and it goes short. You know, just doing a stop rate. So that sort of stuff, you want to wait for price to come to you and do just very, very infrequent trading and high quality setups. So that's what we're trying to offer here at F45 Trading. So if you haven't done already, again, check out our website. I think you guys are going to be very, very happy. It's free for 14 days. If you haven't signed up already, you know, check us out. Like I said, there's not much to lose. So, and at the very least, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at F45 Trading on Twitter and Future 45 Trade Signals on Insta, because there's a bunch of cool stuff there as well too that I post. So, especially onto Twitter. Again, you know what? Give me 1 second actually. I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, and I don't know. I know a couple of people looks like they've just joined here. So I was talking about a sugar trade, and if I can find it here, I posted a chart on it. Just give me 1 minute. I just got to go back through my history, and one second here. I had to do a refresh on my feed, that's why. Okay, here it is. So, this is a chart of sugar. And this was a nice run up that it had into 2016. And it stalled and reversed at the end of 2016 and has since traded very, very soft all through 2017 and in through January. So now what we're seeing here on sugar is we're coming to an area of bullish tendencies, seasonalities on sugar, and I believe we are going to see continuation, sorry, not continuation, I believe we are going to see a reversal coming up pretty soon. And potentially, now this is short term, I'm not going to suggest anything until it happens, but these highs right here, I believe, could be a target for the short term. Ultimately, I'm not necessarily saying we're going to run all the way back up to this 24 level up in here, but when you get big moves that happen, see this move right here? This was a big, big move from... essentially, I'd even say right here, this is from January to September of 2016. It took about 8 months to pan out, but that is a monster move. This will literally change. One trade like this with a couple of contracts will literally change your life. So those are the type of things that we're looking at, waiting for it to come to us, like I was talking about earlier. I'm not day trading this. This is a straight up swing trade, position trade, and I'd be looking for very long-term higher prices. My first target's right here, my second target's right here, my third target's up here, and my fourth target's up here. That's the type of thing that I'm looking at, and I think we could see that happen here fairly quickly. So this level right here at 1169 is sort of where I'm thinking we could see price bounce. I'm not just going to jump into it and you know, as soon as it hits that level, I'm in. Price will confirm. You know, for example, like look what it did right here. Price came down, it set a low, and then boom, it exploded off of this, and it came back down to this small consolidation level right in here. That's where you can get long. If you didn't get long in here, that's where you get long right there, and then you ride that out. Same type of idea here. I'm expecting price to come down here, slam into here, and you know, just depending on the day, if I'm watching it, if I see it, you could possibly get in along on that day, but I'll be waiting for price to see some kind of confirmation, some kind of an explosive movement higher. If I don't see that, then I'm not interested, and we could see price trade lower, obviously. But this has definitely got my eye here, and I think we could be seeing higher prices. I could be completely wrong. Like I say, I'm not going to jump in on this trade. I'm going to wait for confirmation. And again, that confirmation comes in the way of something like this, a nice big explosive move higher, and then wait for them to come back down one more time and tag some more longs up, and then that's where I'd be getting long, and then I'll just wait and sit on it. And again, that's what I'm looking for in the sugar market. So this is the sort of stuff that I put on Twitter. So just kind of coming back to my old what I was wrapping up with here. Follow us on F45 Trading on Twitter, because that way I do post charts. It's so easy to post charts on Twitter. A lot of the you know, like that was bar charts. A lot of the trading software is all linked with Twitter. So I'll throw a couple of charts out on there, and Instagram as well too if I can, and away we go. So anyway, guys, that's it for the day. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Dave will be back tomorrow on Wednesday, again going through S&P gold and the USD yen, and then I'll be back again on Thursday. Probably, I'm thinking I'm going to do a London session on Thursday, just to capture that move. You know, that if we get a continuation higher in dollar and lower in Euro USD, I'm going to try to capture that that last sort of big push on the week, and you know, that would be kind of down into this area in here, hopefully. So that's sort of what I'm looking at on Thursday. So I will catch up with you guys Thursday. London Open, that is going to be at 12 a.m. New York time, Thursday morning. And then Friday again, Dave will be back doing his thing on S&P gold and UJ, so you can watch for that. So thanks for checking us out here. I hope you guys got some sort of value out of what I've been talking about, and that I'm not just rambling on for nothing. And you know, I gave you a little bit of insight into market direction, and hopefully it'll pan out. That's really all there is to it. So thanks, guys. I appreciate your time. Oh, look at this. We're seeing pound dollar start to reject here. So could be a good week here. A lot of opportunities starting to set up here, so it's exciting. And again, if you had gone short in here, I was actually waiting for a push higher. I'd like to see a push higher on euro, but I think we're going to see softer prices in here, just going forward. So, and then crude oil. Damn, I didn't get that push higher on crude oil. Want to see crude push up into here. I don't necessarily want to chase that. So if you guys are thinking about chasing crude, don't, because it can punish you. I want to see a trade back up into here before I get plenty of time on this as well too. Just so you know what I'd be looking for. Take a Fed. Typically price will reverse at anywhere from the 50% level down to even the 80% level that I've got down here, 79-80% level. So lots of room in here to get short, so you don't have to worry about chasing it right here. Wait for an optimal entry, and that would be price coming up and being a bull candle and then trading softer. So, and again, same type of idea as the as cable. Like, I don't want to necessarily be trading short on this and holding for the long term. This has been a very big bull move, and I don't want to get in the way of that. I want to continue to trade with the trend, but oil does present an opportunity because you get very quick movements on it and quick drops, and so I think that we could be seeing that here. So for a quick day trade, quick scalp, get in, get out with 40-50 pips. That's sort of where I'd be targeting some of these levels in here. So just as an aside, but anyway, thanks guys. Hope you have a great Tuesday, and I will catch up to you a little later in the week on Thursday. Oh wait, sorry, Ben, can you take a look at the Aussie? Sure, Ben. Give me 1 second. Ben, just in the future, if you can, just type that on the YouTube chat if you could. I don't have this other chat in front of me all the time because I've got 3 screens going right now, and I've got 2 charts covering 2 of the screens, and I've got the recording software and the YouTube sort of splitting the screens, so I don't always see that Telegram channel. So just post it on the YouTube chat if you could for the next one. Anyway, Aussie. Aussie. Oi. Okay. So Aussie on the daily, obviously, we've been, hang on one second. Let me get rid of this bloody trend line. That's enough of that. Okay. So obviously we've been trading down on the Aussie. And this is another one here that hasn't necessarily been lockstep with the U.S. dollar, which it normally should be. It has that U.S. dollar in the pairing, so we should be seeing lower prices. I'm sorry, we should be seeing consolidation in Aussie, and we haven't. We've been seeing lower prices. Now, I haven't gone in the extra step and checked out the interest rates yet on the Aussie. I would highly recommend, Ben, if you're an Aussie trader, go through, find out what the interest rates are currently doing in Aussie, and find out if they are lower. If they're lower, you're going to see weaker prices. If they're higher, obviously you're going to see higher prices. And just find out sort of what it's doing, because this has seen a very, very weak price action as of late. And so far, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is going to be the area of support where price is just going to reverse and start plugging higher. Now, if it starts getting higher than this high in here, then you could obviously change your tune, and maybe they had a shift in monetary stimulus or policy, or again raised interest rates, or whatever it is. But just have a look on that if you can, and I could certainly do that as well too, and just kind of give you my thoughts. I'm not going to do that in here for obvious reasons. There's a number of things I'd need to look at, a lot of data to kind of crunch, but it takes about 15-20 minutes if you're really into it. You could certainly look at that yourself, but I would highly suggest you start there, the interest rates, find out what they're doing, if they're stronger, if they're weaker, and because this is not coinciding with what the U.S. dollar is doing. Very, very big decline on here. So they have run into a level of support in here, but it definitely leads me to believe that there could be some continuation further downward. But you look at this on the macro level here, and I don't use these trend lines or anything like that, so don't get me wrong. We could see, like I was saying, further continuation lower if this trend line is going to hold up. That's essentially, there is a small little area in here, a small little pocket in here that I think they may want to come back down to. So just keep that in mind. What did they do here? Did they grab the highs? They grabbed the highs by a couple of pips. So they just swept the highs, turtle soup, and ran lower. So that leads me to believe that they are stacking up liquidity below here. I'm not suggesting for 1 second either, so don't get me wrong, Ben. Looking at this, I think they probably will go higher, ultimately. So you look at this, and this is the weekly chart. We've been in a very, very serious bearish decline, and sort of a real muted, chopped sideways, almost sideways bullish price action since January of 2016. So, I mean, it's not like it's beautiful trading in here. I mean, if you look down on like, let's say a 15-minute or a 1-hour chart, you'd look at that and you'd say, yeah, not really too interested in that. But you go down to a daily, obviously the ranges are fairly large. It's a couple hundred pips, and you can capture some pretty good ranges in there. But I would suggest eventually, yeah, higher. Long term, I think they're going to come back up and they're going to rip through here. Short term, though, you can see how they've stacked stops up. So they left the stops under here. Look at this. Let me get rid of this guy here so you can see this a little bit better. They've run and almost equal lows right down in here as well too. So that's another level that I don't think they're going to come all the way back down to there. But again, they left stops under there. They left stops under there, and they left stops under there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they came down and just ran into those stops, turtle souped, and then ran higher. That would be something I'd be looking for. But I wouldn't necessarily say, well, we've come down here, this is support, and they're going to start jamming price higher. I think they're just going to come up to, more than likely, see these lows in here, the small consolidation level in here. I wouldn't be surprised if they ran it up into here, and basically did this. Definitely scoop these lows in here, and then off of this level here, so I'll just put a price chart on here, for you, Ben. So this 7610 level, even 7600, I would watch that level, and if they have any willingness to close lower than 7600, you know, I would expect them to then potentially run these levels in here. And there's definitely some levels down in here that I like. Maybe even a sweep on there into the old highs in here by 20 or 30 pips. That could be possible. So just keep that in mind. I think they're probably going to end up taking this lower, and only because they rated the stops up here and rejected so quickly and have been trading softer ever since. I think they'll probably rally it one more time, potentially drop it, and my eye would go right to here for a target and any continuation lower through here where they're going to sweep the stops. And then from there I'd be watching these levels in here, and then I don't think they're going to come this low. But if we do see continuation in here, that could be a nice long from there if they sweep these stops or fail to get into lower than 7600. Could be a good long, and I would definitely be targeting. I don't know what type of a trader you are, if you're a swing trader or not, but I'd be targeting these lows up in here. Now that's a very long ways away. It would probably take the rest of the year to get all the way up there. You know, that's 900 pips. For sure the rest of, you know, into the summer it would take to get up there. So I would just sort of keep that one in mind, that they may be looking for that long term. So Ben, hopefully that answers your question, and that's it, guys. I got to get running. I got a busy day today. I got some meetings happening here. Got to get on with my day. So thanks very much. You guys have a wonderful day. Dave will be in tomorrow, 9 a.m. New York time. I'll be back Thursday, London, 12 a.m. New York time. And so that's how your week's going to set up. So we will catch up to you then. Have a good day, guys.